Hello, Marissa Stirling.
Hello.
Welcome to Tees Talks.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Today we're talking about GCSE Results Day, which is this Thursday. I'm a parent of somebody that has finished in Year 11, and with you being a professional careers advisor in Teesside, we just want to pick your brain and try and establish what's the best way to go about things and what we can expect. So firstly, Marissa, if it's okay, is just from your experience, can you just let me know on Thursday, what do we do when we wake up on GCSE Results Day?
I think the first thing to do is the night before, get some sleep. You can't do anything without a really good night's sleep, and I know it's going to be really difficult because emotions and nerves are running really, really high for obviously everybody, friends, family, parents, but try and get a good night's sleep. Try and distract yourself the night before. The grades are what they are, so we can't change them. So that envelope that you receive is not going to change in the morning.
The work's already been done.
It's been done. You've done the hard work. You've done the exams. It is what it is. The best thing is to get your head around possibly thinking the night before, if you haven't already done it. The best advice I can give is to prepare yourself mentally, which will ease the stress, I think, on the day, no matter what the outcome.
Okay, and when you say prepare yourself mentally, do you think some students will be in a position where they maybe haven't got an exact route of what they want to do, and or their results might not turn out to be what they thought they were?
Exactly, yeah. So I think the night before, have your plan A in your mind. If you not always knew what you wanted to do, whether it was college, whether it was A-levels, whether it's going to an apprenticeship, or you might have already started your apprenticeship.
Oh, could people start
Yeah,
already?
definitely, yeah. But I wouldn't advise
What,
it.
like in the summer?
Yeah, I would have the summer off. You owe yourself that much at that age. So no, I think definitely get your head around what your plan A was.
Right.
And also make sure that you have your plan B in your mind, and possibly your plan C as well.
Right.
So that no matter what the outcome, the pathway can always be changed. It might not look what it looked like in the beginning, but it can change, and it doesn't stop anything. It is literally, as everybody keeps saying, it is not the end of the world.
No, I mean the GCSE should be a starting point for the rest of your life and the start of your career.
Exactly, it's just the first step.
Yeah, so maybe take that pressure off yourself a little bit. But I think what I'm hearing is the preparation that you do with the planning is what's going to help you stay balanced on the day.
It is, and I think that's it. I think the key is just to prep in your mind what you wanted to do, where you were going to go, if you had that thought, or if you've got many of your options open. As I tell some of my students, make sure you've got lots of different plans. Right. And no matter what the outcome, whether it's really positive and better than you ever thought of, brilliant, or if it's not maybe what you'd hoped for, it's not the end of the world. It's a different pathway, that's all. So I think that's my first key. Good night's sleep, get your head around preparing yourself for either or, and then it is what it is in the morning.
Then we wake up, get a good breakfast.
We get a good breakfast, wake up early or have a lie-in, whichever you want to do.
Because all these Year 11's that have been sleeping till 2 o'clock in the afternoon, getting up
possibly get up.
Get up early.
Get up a little bit early, get yourself around it. I did want to talk about, for a lot of students though, it is overwhelming getting your results. So I wanted to talk through, if you wanted to know sort of a little bit of what it'll look like.
Oh yes, please, yeah. Because on Thursday, I mean, in every school it's going to be different, obviously.
Every school will run it differently.
There'll be a theme that's similar.
There's a generic, there's some things that are very generic, and other schools will be doing it bigger and better than ever. Some schools have invited colleges in, which I know, which is really, really good.
Okay.
So that if it was the college that, for instance, you've enrolled in already, they're there, they're on hand, especially for your results.
Pick you out. And
they can pick you out and off you go. Other schools have sort of got really good celebrations. Others are quite formal. From my perspective, usually what happens is, depending on the year group, depending how large it is, so that it's not sort of chaos for everybody, usually you're asked to go in tutor groups or your form groups, so you've got dedicated times. It never works out like that because everybody wants the results at the same time.
Right, so you might get some people, so in the school that my young person is in, they're doing it alphabetically for surnames, but we're a W. But
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait till the last, but you might find that you get some people that are pushing and
Yes,
coming earlier
that
than
come in
their
earlier
slot.
than their particular slot.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter, but it's
No,
just to try and give a little bit of order and a little bit of
Yeah.
calm. You'll walk into the area, which I presume is a larger area, a main hall, a gym. All envelopes will be with the exam officers, so they'll all be on one table. So
Right.
usually what you'll find in the room that's quite large to accommodate all of the students should be a number of tables. If you've got a sixth form college attached, then obviously all of your sixth form headmaster will be there, heads of year will be there, teachers will be there. I know our headmaster's always there, and our deputy head, and obviously any other teachers that are relevant to that, as well as your careers advisor.
That'd be great, because there'll be some familiar faces in there that you won't have
That's
seen
the whole
since June.
support is there, so
okay.
you've got that familiarity. So as you approach the table, all of your results are in an envelope with your details on the front. So it's really important that your student number and your name are correct on the front, which the exam officer will know.
Do you need to take any ID or anything, or just because
You
that's
don't.
your school, they would
It's your
recognise
school,
that you're
your
that person?
results.
Okay.
So the results will be in an envelope on the desk. The envelope will be open, so don't worry.
Someone's had a snoop.
It's not a sealed envelope for ease, so
Yeah.
it's an open envelope. I think that's really important for some students to get their head
Okay.
around, because it's like, why is it open?
Right, good. That's really good to hear.
It should be open so that it's just ease
Yeah.
and it's yours. I would say for a lot of students this can be a really overwhelming time, especially walking into a hall with however many other people are there, because obviously once people have got the results, not everybody dashes out. You do not have to open your results in that hall.
Right.
If you want to walk out of the hall when you've got your results and take them home, if you've got somebody waiting in the car, or you want to go home,
Yeah.
and you find that's the best way to deal with it, then do it like that as well.
Yeah.
That's
Because
absolutely
if
fine.
you start to get like bundled by all your
Yeah.
friends, what have you got? What have
Yeah.
you got? Oh, I got it, and someone else
It's an emotionally
pushing their A's and
charged-
B's. Well, not
yeah.
A's and B's anymore. Sorry,
Grades.
Marissa. Yeah.
Everywhere you're at.
That's how old I am. But
yeah,
no.
it's an emotionally charged day, and it's not always positives for everybody.
Yeah.
But that's generally how your school should or would run it. And again, a lot of schools have got added things on, so they've got like a celebration, they've got photo booths, balloon
Oh, really?
arches I've heard of. Yeah. So I think
I have seen with last week was people's sixth form, their A-level results came out, wasn't it? So
yes.
I did get a flavour of different places, the way that they're celebrated, like with the balloon walls and this, that and the other. And there was differences in that, and and I think probably it is worth saying that your results are no less valid because you didn't have a big balloon wall.
Not at all. Not at all.
It's all about...
It should be, at the end of the day, no matter what the result, it should be a celebration. You've reached that point, you've done the work, it's over, and it should be looking forward, and it should be a celebratory day. No matter what your outcome, I want everyone to take home, it's a celebration. You've got to that point, your secondary education is finished, which for most people is a punch in the air, and it's great. And some people struggle with it as well, because it's been a safety net for years. Love it or hate it, it's the norm, and it's quite disciplined and structured, which it's quite fearful for some moving on, but it should be a celebratory day at the end of the day.
That's good to hear, and also it's really great to hear you saying that if you really want to go off with your results and read them in private, or read them with somebody who's supportive of you, then you can do that as well, because it has been a big gap between leaving after doing your actual exams, and now it's like 10-11 weeks, so it is quite a sizable chunk of time to not have any connection with that school that you were going to daily.
It's like I say, it's a difficult day for everybody, but it's what's important to you. You get the results, no matter what you want to happen after you have that envelope in your hand. It's important to say that some students are on holiday, so some students won't necessarily collect their results in person, and you should have already set something up with the school to know that, so that if you're sending a parent for your results, you may have already had to have put consent in with the school, so that the school is aware, or that parent should really bring ID with them to sign for your results as well.
So that all needed to be pre-done before the day. And then when we're talking about opening the results, and that's good to know as well that the envelope will be open, because you don't want anything throwing you off what's actually in
why is
front
my
of you.
envelope open?
Yeah, and I think that possibly could throw you off.
Yeah.
So you open it up and you've got your plan A there. If plan A isn't going to be the plan you're going through, but you want to speak to somebody and find out, well, actually, what do I do? This isn't what I applied for. I applied for 3 A levels at the sixth form of the school I'm at, just for example.
Yeah.
But that's not the grades that you got. What happens then, Marissa?
There's so many things that you've got at your fingertips. The other sort of really important point that I want to make is that you don't have to do everything in a day. So I know it feels emotionally charged, everyone's heightened, whether it's positive or negative for you, or not negative, just not what you'd hope for.
Yeah.
You don't have to rush in to do everything. So you should have, in a school, you should have your careers advisor there. So my first signpost really is about managing your post-16 options. You've got absolutely loads. So your careers advisor should be there, or your designated careers advisor. Your teachers should be there, who are, as you said before, know you the best. Have known you for a long time. You've only just, not seen them for 8 weeks.
They might be able to like scoop you up and guide you a little bit.
They will,
with your emotions.
They will. There'll be lots of support there. So don't feel that you've got to just be alone and you've got to do everything immediately, or you're not going to be able to do what you needed to do. So take stock of what your results are. If it was, as we'd said, preparing, if it was your plan A, then absolutely fantastic. If your plan A was to go to the sixth form, if the school's there, the sixth form will be there. So
that's
head over to that
easy
desk.
one, isn't it? Really.
It might not be that some of the grades are what you wanted, so it's usually best to discuss with them. Or it might be that your grades, I also want to give sort of 2 sides to it. It might be that your grades are better than you hoped for, because we do always say
that would be good.
You do always sort of err on the might not be as good as you wanted, but sometimes they're better than you've expected, and that can throw a lot of students as well. It's like, well, should I be aiming high? Should I change my course? Should I do this? So I think you've got to look at those options, but try not to just do everything and rush into it. Try and take stock of the information. So you've got your careers advisor there, first of all. The second, depending what your plan was, you could also then go home and contact your college. So if you've been given that conditional offer from your college, which most students have earlier on in the year, if you're going for a vocational course, then they're the ones to contact. So basically you're just reconfirming. Again, you don't need to do that.
Do you still want me?
Yeah.
This is Marissa.
Well, you still have me. It's always yes. So you don't need to do that again straight away. The college will already contact you. They'll be hot on your heels.
Right.
And again, a lot of students have applied for 2 or 3 colleges, so then you need to really think, right, okay, I've got the grades for this course, I've got the grades for that course. Which way do I want to go? So it's really entirely up to you again.
So it sounds like take a breath.
Yeah.
Just take
definitely.
Get them, take a breath. Yeah. Evaluate where you are and know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Right.
If it's that it wasn't what you expected, and you are, it's a bitter pill to swallow. It really is, and unfortunately, as adults, we know that it does build resilience, and it does help you along with life. But it's
makes you who you are.
It does make you who you are, yeah. But unfortunately, that right there and then on that day, it hurts. It hurts a lot. I have been there myself, so I wasn't particularly academic, but I always worked really, really hard, and I don't think, exams are not for everybody. And I think that's what you've got to remember as well. It's a snapshot in time. It does not reflect how you're going to go on in life.
And would that, or could that, around the time that you get your results and you think, actually, I know I worked hard and I know I'm capable of these things, but the results in the exam didn't reflect, what I did.
Yeah.
Do you think that's maybe a good time to think, well, actually, maybe a vocational route's the best way for me at this point? Definitely. And then is there still time to apply for vocational courses?
Oh yes, absolutely. All the colleges will have their open days. So there's a couple of things that you could do. So if you receive those results and they're not what you hope for, there's a step-by-step. So you could look at getting them remarked, so you can appeal. If you definitely feel it doesn't reflect the work that you've done, then you can have a look at them and get them remarked. So you'll do that with the school on that particular day, or you'll contact your schools. There'll be somebody there, so you can contact your school and the exams officer will help you go through that process. Sometimes there is a fee for remarking as well.
So you've got to be quite confident that...
But if you know deep down in your heart that, you know, you've put that work in and you don't feel that that mark is fairly, you know, reflects the work that you've done fairly, then there is that process. So
to get a second look at it.
To say you can resit as well. It's not the most popular option because you should move on, and it's not going to stop you really.
So I think would the only time you'd be looking really to resit, unless somebody particularly needed a science or something, you would only maybe look at doing your maths and English
if you
because
wanted
you need to continue
if you wanted to do it. If you choose a vocational pathway, to be perfectly honest, the college will guide you through it, and if your grade in your maths or your science or your English wasn't what the college wanted or wasn't what you expected to do that course, generally you can resit those particular subjects whilst running along with your course as well.
So you can do it alongside, so you're not going to have to necessarily step back and wait. You can do it at the same time.
It's just that your pathway looks a bit different, and you have got a little bit more learning to do alongside that chosen course as well. So,
but this is the point in time where everybody that you were in a class with are all now doing very different things, aren't they? So this is where everybody fragments, and you're on your own journey now.
You choose your own pathway and you listen to your own advice, or you scoop up your advice. So the other side of it is that most schools generally that I'm aware of have a careers platform. So the school that I work for does.
Do you mean like an online careers platform? Is that how that works?
So basically, as a student, you've gone through in your year 10 and year 11, it should have been more relevant. So for instance, there's, to drop a few, there's Unifrog, there's Growfar. So quite a lot of schools have a careers platform that they use. You as a student still have access to that platform, which is really, really helpful for you. So they usually have a resource element and you can tap into that if you're unsure. There's also...
And if you don't know how to log in or you've forgotten, you can just ask your careers advisor.
You can ask the careers advisor, but most students are so IT savvy anyway. If you've forgotten your password, then you just reset it on the platform. It's not an issue. You can speak to, there's an exam results hotline. So depending on what facilities you've got at your school, if you don't have a careers advisor or you don't feel you've got that support, there is a national free phone number for exam results hotline. Or if you're more tech savvy, then they have a web chat facility. And I know that I looked yesterday and that seems to be open until about 8 p.m. So that's a really good one.
So if it's okay, I'll get that information off you and I'll put it alongside the podcast. So for that national number. So there's also, again, depending what route you were thinking of, there's an apprenticeship hub. So there's a lot of online support as well. So I use the platform Ask or Amazing Apprenticeships, which is the Ask programme, which is the skills and knowledge programme for apprenticeships. That platform is also absolutely brilliant because there's lots on there. And would that be from the point of view of, if you think, right, I think I'd like to give an apprenticeship a go, if you then go onto that platform, will there be vacancies on there, and will they be regional, or are they...
That's a resource element, so it'll tell you how the apprenticeship works, how to look for them, depending on your postcode area, and how to sort of basically use the filters to get the apprenticeship that you want. But my advice with apprenticeships is to first of all speak to the college, because all of the colleges in our local area, especially Tees Valley, can provide apprenticeships as well. So depending what your thoughts were about it, go to them first, because they can help you with your vocational, they can help you with your A-level, they can help you with your apprenticeship.
And so in our area, that's where's the best place to go to? Did you say Combined Authority?
No, you could go to any college. So whichever college you've applied for, they will be able to support you with your apprenticeship as well. There's something like 800 apprenticeships at the moment, so 800 standards and apprenticeships. So there's very little career-wise that you can't do in an apprenticeship. So
it's brilliant. Yeah, it really is brilliant. And then there's the option of T-levels as well, is this?
There's T-levels out there. I'm a really big advocate for apprenticeships and T-levels. I think T-levels, particularly in our area for Tees Valley, are going to be a real winner, and I think they might, dare I say it now, supersede the A-levels at some point. They're very industry specific, obviously. They're working an 80-20 split, so 80% of the time is exactly the same as an A-level, but 20% of the time you're obviously on a placement.
Oh, it's that way around with the T-level.
Yeah,
because
so
with an apprenticeship, when I did an apprenticeship, it was
opposite way.
It was 4 days at work, and then
it's a technical qualification, so the 20% usually can equate to anywhere between 310, 315 to 400 hours placement. And again, it's industry specific. So if you're thinking, I don't like to say the generic ones, but if you're thinking engineering, healthcare, IT, T-level is brilliant, especially if your gradings for your GCSEs were better than you expected, but you're just not keen on the A-level route because of how it's delivered. It's not for you.
And I think that some of the sectors you were just talking about then, they seem to be very prevalent in Teesside, and
Definitely.
like, dare I say it, quite future-proof. Like, these are jobs that,
I think
that will probably still be around
definitely
in however many years'
You've
time.
got to think how that your career will diversify.
The longevity of it.
It is,
yeah.
and I think, dare I say, I think there's no such thing as a job for life. I think the average adult has between 7 and 8 careers, and that's probably not counting your part-time jobs and everything else. So I don't, what I'm saying is your pathway can change. It's just up to you how hard and what you put into those next steps. Definitely. That's
fantastic. And was there anything else around what's going to happen on the day that you wanted to talk about, Marissa? Or do you think, I feel like I'm prepared. I hope that I can be of help to my young person by passing on this information or letting them listen to the podcast, and so maybe this will give you an idea of what Thursday's going to be like.
I think it's hard for parents as well. I think from what I've seen sort of in the past, the parents are very, very nervous themselves, and they're very worried for their young person. And it's generally because young people, I think today, they're quite level-headed. They've got skills that
maturity that we maybe don't give them credit for sometimes.
They have enough credit. No, I think on the face of it, it's like, oh, they're so relaxed, or there's they need to be up and out, and they need to but actually a lot of young people that I've come across daily, weekly, monthly, they've got part-time jobs, they've got some good skills, they know what they want. It's just that when you get grades like this after such a big event, GCSEs are, it's hard. It is hard to cope with, no matter whether they're really, really great or not what you'd hope for, or really not what you'd hope for. But I think for parents, just one step at a time. It's not the end of the world.
Don't flap around and make more.
You don't need to rush into anything. And I think the same for students as well. Colleges are so good at advising you. So utilise what's at your fingertips. Utilise your school. Utilise your careers advisor. Speak to the college. You don't have to make any rash decisions, particularly if your pathway's changed. Take it home, digest it, speak to others, speak to older brothers, older sisters, cousins, family members. What did they do? Was it what they wanted? Take people's different perspectives, because sometimes that can really change what you were thinking. And I think that's probably more relevant for parents, just because they thought they had that pathway. All is not lost. It's definitely not. The one thing that I probably would like to say, and I think this is more relevant for parents, and again, it's just purely a piece of advice, working within sort of a sixth form college, I think really let your young person decide. If A-levels are not for them, then listen to them and not push them into a direction that you feel is the best direction. And it's only because of what I've seen in the past where, starting an A-level or getting onto 3 A-levels, depending which college you're, what subjects you pick, is only the beginning. It's actually the work that you have to put in for A-levels that is the hardest part. So it's not actually the grades to do them. It's completing the work, and having just seen the A-level results. you know, it's hard. It is really hard, especially for that young person.
And I was just thinking that if it's more of the parents' pathway for them than their own pathway, they maybe won't have the investment into the course. You
have to be motivated to be engaged, to learn, and because the bar is a little bit higher with A-levels, with the work content, you know, and its delivery is the same, and in terms of a classroom-based subject. If you know your grades were possibly not what you thought, or A-levels were on your mind but you're not sure, then certainly look at the higher level vocations in terms of sort of the level 3s.
So you could go straight from a GCSE onto a level 3?
Yeah, if you spoke to the college and they wished it, they've looked at your grades and the best advice is to come from them and they've recommended it, then yes.
And the level 3 does come out as an equivalent of your A-levels as well.
Exactly, it's A-level equivalent.
I mean, I know this from person because I got to university on a business admin level 3, which I didn't realise was the equivalent at the time. So it was like a happy accident, but because of the apprenticeship route. So all's not lost, even if you do want to go to university down the line, that's not like a substandard route to get there.
You don't need to take anything, it's just a different pathway, as I say, you're just signposting yourself a little bit different, and it's a different pathway to maybe what you'd hoped. Or like I say, if it's everything you wanted and more, then again, digest that information. You might be looking ahead now if you're really prepared and really organised. You might already be thinking about, you know, university and where you want to go.
Yeah.
And that's great, but in the same breath, that can also change. So just be, you know, prepared in your mind that not everything has to stay the same.
Yeah, you can be flexible.
For it to be a successful outcome, no, it can change.
That's brilliant. That's a lot of advice, and I know you're going to be very busy because you're going to be off doing this and advising your young people within the school setting yourself, Marissa, and you know, I wish I was at your school, to be honest. You know,
have some help.
Have some help. Yeah, it's a team effort, but you're there, and I mean, I'd love you to come back another time to talk about additional things around getting started. And I saw somebody that had come from your school who is a young person but was doing a work experience, and somebody else had helped him set up a LinkedIn account, and his LinkedIn account was very good.
Oh, yes.
And I just thought, you know, he seemed to have so much advice and knowledge, but I think, you know, obviously he's got the right people around him, and that's fantastic. And I think that if we could maybe do a couple of other podcasts down the line, I don't want to take up too much of your time,
I'd love to,
but around things like that.
I think that young people forget that they've got so much to give. They're very, very worried sometimes, which is understandable because it's a maturity and it's an emotional thing. But a lot of people do have, and I say this to all of our young people, they've got so much to give. They don't realise that they've got skills. A lot of them have part-time jobs. A lot of them do a lot of different or in-school sports, outside school sports. And when it comes to sort of work experience and voluntary work, whatever you can do, my good advice is to get it, because it'll just stand you in good stead for the future. But don't ever forget you have got those skills.
Yeah, well, we'll have a good talk about that another time if that's
Brilliant.
Okay. And finally, I don't know whether it is a bit of scaremongering in the media, but this week I saw an article saying that the marking has been much harder or more harshly on this year's GCSEs. Do you know, what are your thoughts about that?
I think yes. I think it's a little bit of media hype, and I think a little bit of it is true as well.
Because we're coming out of that COVID.
We're coming
aftermath.
out of it, and I think sometimes, speaking from the A-level results, and some of the subject teachers found the marking particularly harsh, knowing what their students could do. So that's probably particular evidence of just one school and one. And the A-level results, whether the GCSE results will be the same, I don't know. Again, it's a lot of media hype, but
it is what it is.
It is what it is. You can't change the grades, but you can change what happens next. So
look for advice and ask people for help, and it's not all on your shoulders on Thursday.
It isn't, no, you've got absolutely an abundance of support around you, so don't ever walk away with that envelope and feel it's lost. It should be a celebratory day, no matter what you do. It should be. You should be able to go out with family and friends on the evening, or do something social with family and friends. You know, stay off social media. There's no need. Just enjoy the moment, I think.
Yeah. And your
really.
story,
And
not
yours.
everybody else's.
Yeah, don't listen to anybody else's. Just go with your own. And as I say, it's your journey. So yeah, you just pick what happens next.
Well, good luck to everybody.
Good luck, yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Thursday brings.
Me too.
Thank you very much for your time. We really, really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks.